Hey, everybody. Welcome to the B2B Revenue Leadership Podcast. Hey, what we do on this podcast is talk about what B2B sales and marketing leaders, operators, and experts are doing today to really break through and grow their businesses at exponential levels. Let's get it in the interview. At the end, I'll give you an update on my courses, and you can check out my website at b2brevenue.com, and it's Brian G. Burns on LinkedIn.
Hey, Simon, welcome to the show. As a way of getting started, tell us about yourself.
Wow, thank you for having me. My name is Simon Leslie. My full-time day job is I'm CEO of a company called Inc. We are the largest travel media business in the world. We produce content, sell advertising, create partnerships for all the major airlines in the world. And I'm a part-time author writing about sales, and I love the subject of sales. I love everything about sales. I sleep, eat, breathe sales. And so the opportunity like this to sit and talk about sales with you is what I'm excited about. Great.
What do you like about sales? Why'd you get into it?
I think it was the only job I could get. You know, I didn't do very well at school.
Yeah.
School and me didn't agree, so I left school at 16, and I applied for a job in the paper that said, no experience necessary. Come in and here you go. And they gave you a week's training, and then we were out on the street, door knocking, selling life insurance.
Wow!
And I got a deal on my first night, which is something no one had ever done before. So I thought, I must be quite good at this. And there's a funny story from that, because I got another 17, 18 deals that month. And at the end of the month, I thought, I'm going to get a really big paycheck. This is great. Only the first deal stuck. And I think the lesson in that is when you follow a process and you follow the script and you do everything to the letter, it works. Once you start getting a bit cocky and arrogant and think you know what you're doing, people don't stick. People don't actually trust you, and so it took a lot of rebuilding myself. And I think you go through competence, confidence, and then you slip into arrogance. And
Dunning-Kruger effect.
So I really spend a lot of time making sure people are competent first, and then we get them into confidence and try and pull them back when they get a bit too big for their boots.
Yeah, I think that happens quite a bit. I call it the B player trap, where they have a certain amount of success and they think it's 100% attributed to them. And if it doesn't continue, it's because of someone else.
The B is for blame, right? Who can I blame?
Well, B is in A, B, or C, like in school.
Yeah. But it's like,
blame. Yeah.
It's like the F in my book. It's like, what's the F? People keep saying, what's the F in it? I said, well, if you say the title quickly, there's no F in sales. That's what the F stands for.
Now, given the success you had, why write a book?
Because I've got frustrated with the media. Doesn't like writing about media. That's the first challenge. And people were not talking about what we do as a business, and more importantly, what our culture is, and how I've managed to keep growing this over the last 25 years. And I just felt like there was so much knowledge in my head about sales and some of the pitfalls I'd been through that it was, I had an opportunity to share it, and that's what I wanted to do. And I wrote it, one, to accelerate people's performance, two, to get it off my chest. And I've had some real big ups and downs over the last 20 years, and some people got to get an unfair viewing in there. But also I wanted to raise some money for charity, which was the third point. Every penny of profit from the book goes to help homeless people. So, it was, although I wanted to share great information, I also wanted to do something good as well.
Yeah. And what were some of the milestones that you went through, or the hurdles as a salesperson?
It's a good question. Too many hurdles. Obviously, all the acts of gods, the 9/11s, the 2008s, the SARS, the avian flu, the volcanic ash, countries going bust. And then after I'd survived all of those and we were going, right, this is great. We then did something stupid and over-invested in digital and got ourselves in a pickle in 2015. And there were four of us at the time, and we broke up. The band broke up, and myself and Michael Keating, who founded the company, took it back over in 2015. So in 5 short years, we've taken the business probably from about $30 million to $100 million. Wow. We've doubled the profit every single year, and we just went back to doing what we were good at, being cutting out the overcomplicating, going back to KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. Just stop being busy fools. Stop trying to be clever. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel, and just stick to the basics. And when we did that, the performance accelerated. And we came into 2020 thinking, on the back of the greatest year we've ever had, thinking this is going to be a bumpy year. It's an election year. Everything's looking good, and then bang! Yeah. We are probably in the sweetest of misery points for this. Airlines, advertising, and travel.
And how do you keep your head straight?
Well, I got really frustrated at the beginning because everybody kept saying, we're all in the same boat, right? And I kept saying, no, we're not in the same boat. Some people have got big boats, some people have got small boats, some people haven't even got a boat anymore, some people are sinking. And then you have cruise ships, and then you have airplanes, and they really are feeling the pain. We're all in the same storm. And the only thing that I can control is what I do with my team and my people. Yeah. And I really learned a lot about this from 2008. Because when 2008 hit, we never lost any money during that period because I just focused on the team. I picked off talent that was getting fired, and I said, right, if we look after the people, they're going to get us through this. So I've done the same thing this time, but this time even more aggressively. I think we've kept 96% of our staff all on full pay. We've done everything we can to keep them engaged. I've been bringing in world-class speakers probably for the last, however long we've been in lockdown, about 5 weeks. And every day they're getting their brains energized, motivated, and they're learning. And I think that's been the key, because it's very easy to stagnate, sit at home, watch Tiger King, and then go, yeah, that was a great. I don't want anyone in my team to look back on 2020 and say, yeah, that was a nice 3 months we had off, and it was nothing. I want them to look back and say, this changed my life. And I actually thought about it today. I think I'm lucky, having the opportunity to train my team with the best, coaches in the world. Yeah. At a time when, in normal form of business, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And, touch wood, this goes on for a few more weeks because they will be A stars.
Yeah. I mean, I lived through the same things. And, this doesn't feel, although I think it's going to be a wallop, but I think we're going to recover from it very quickly. That's my perception. My timing couldn't have been worse through the last two. I was at a VC funded one during 9/11 with no product and no revenue. I saw the writing on the wall that they weren't going to keep us for long. Then 2008, my earnout had just ended when Bear Stearns went belly.
Good timing, or that was good timing?
That was bad. Well, I didn't have a job.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I talked them into keeping me for 3 more months. So it gave me enough time to find another one. But here, personally, it's fine. But I get there's a lot of people out there that have been laid off and stuff. What would your advice be for them?
That there is so much ability to really hone your craft now. There's free courses from all the Ivy League universities. They really can, if they put the same 8 hours a day that they would do into work, into coaching, training, and inspiring themselves, they'll come back, and there'll be people looking for jobs. But the difference is, and you'll understand this, for 15 years, people could walk in and say, see you later. I'm not giving you notice. I don't care. I've got another job. Don't need you. Now there's going to be a lot more candidates and a lot less jobs. And it's going to be an employer's market, and we're going to have the pick of the best.
Like there's never been before.
For most people, certainly for anyone under 40, it's going to be like, oh, what the hell is this?
Right. Where's my kombucha?
Yeah. Where's the free fruit, eh? And I think there's going to be a second culling as well, because what's going to happen is when they do open the offices back up, the ones that took the off season and took it seriously will come back and be ready to go. And then there's going to be that 10-15% who said, well, I'll get back in, I'll just meander back in. They will get culled so quickly because they will just they won't be up to the game. And I think this is what I'm saying to everybody: just come back ready, come back hungry, come back determined. My guys haven't been able to earn commission for 3 months, so they are their basics is not big enough for them to live the life they've been used to. they've got to come back and be prepared. But we've also got to come back and understand that our customers are going to have changed, our advertisers are going to have changed. They would have gone through a really difficult time. So there's going to have to be a whole, it's going to be a little bit of a dance act to get it together where we all work with each other and support each other.
Right. And especially for sales, because even if you get the job, the economy, it's going to take time. And deals are going to be more difficult. There's going to be fewer of them. And the tendency will for them to stall for lots of reasons. So when you're going from a great economy to a bad economy in 6 weeks, that's a really big change for people.
There were deals falling out the sky. I mean, people had more money than they knew what to do with. I think there's going to be an interesting mix between the digital advertising, the traditional advertising, and whatever the new types of advertising there is as well. I think people are going to say, look, I need to prove that we're getting some value for money here. I need to prove this works. So I think we started to see that already towards the end of last year. People's coming back to the good old In-Flight magazine because it's there. People are used to seeing it. They're getting comfortable with it, and it still delivers great ROI. And Facebook and Google started to become so expensive that okay, hang on a minute. I'm spending $1 million now. I'm spending $1.5 million, but I'm only getting the same response, and I've got to spend more and more and more to get the same response. And I think marketeers became lazy. Marketeers started to do the same things and listen to the bullshit that came out of most of the big digital companies. And I think most of them have been canned. So you're going to suddenly have more accountability from the CEO downwards to say, look, I need to get us back in, and we can't keep doing what we've always done.
Right. And that's it. People are going to be wiser with their money. They're going to do a lot more experiments. They're going to require a lot more service than they ever did before. And that's going to be an adjustment for a lot of people on the sales side.
I mean, it's really interesting that you said that, because in January, I was sitting there thinking, how can I really make this a good year? And I said, what about if I tied the commission to the customer service level of the customer rates you, and if you get a 10, you get 10%. If you only get a 1, you get a 1%. So people had to start looking after the customers more, because I just felt that it was too easy to pick up the phone and go, yeah, we'll do a deal. Yeah. Oh, you want 20% off? No problems. Let's see what we can do. And I feel like we, as a business, grossly undervalued our media, because it was working, it was delivering fantastic results, and yet we were still selling it as if it was like the poor cousin from somewhere no one wanted to go.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of in your space as well, for totally different markets. And I talk with marketing people all the time, and it's really, everyone wants pure attribution. I spend this dollar, this happens on their end. They don't understand, you got to get the word out. You got to have an engagement. And they don't see the difference between like a webinar and a podcast. And it's like, it's a world of difference. And you try and explain it, but marketers live in a world of, I don't know how to characterize it, kind of make believe or made upness, or, where it's just a veneer on something.
Complete veneer. My first question is this: Are you in business for the long term or the short term? They go long term. I said, well, why is every conversation with you about I need to get results today, tomorrow, and the next day? I said, because that's not how business works. If you
It's not how people works.
this is not going to work, right? This is, the advert that you put in someone's mind today might take a year, might take 5 years. It took me 15 years to get a Sunseeker from the first time I saw the advert. And it had a completely different effect on me, that advertising, than what they expected. And maybe that's the way they work. They say, look, it's a slow burn. We catch them early, and then we develop them through the funnel. And that's what advertising, that's what marketing is about. There's top of the funnel, there's middle of the funnel, and there's bottom of the funnel. And everything suddenly has become, if I spend $1, I want $1.20 back.
Right. And
that's not the metric. You can get $10 back if you actually think about it properly. And half the time they're not even able to measure where the results come from. So if I put an advert in and you go, okay, that's great, and then you search it on Google and you find it on Google and you press click, oh, Google's working again for us. No, that's not what initiated the search. What initiated the search was something very different.
Right. Can you really give attribution on a car ad? Think about a large purchase you made. What made you decide to pick that car over something else? There's probably hundreds of contributors to it, right?
I think there's too much mathematics. I think is the best word.
Yeah.
It's mathematics, and mathematics are not why people buy, and mathematics are not the reason that any business should be in place. I have a stat in the book. It's called the 78% rule, and it's really prevalent for now. If I knew this was going to happen, I would have done a lot more marketing around the book, because this is written to help people through difficult market conditions. 78% rule is this: if 78% of brands disappeared tomorrow, no one would care. Life would just move on as normal, and you're going to see that now. The government has saved a lot of companies, but some of them should have gone. They should have let some of these companies go, because they were rubbish companies. They were badly run. They were badly organized. And they could have gone through bankruptcy, and someone could have bought them and loved them and cared about them. Instead, now we've just financed them to stay in business for a little bit longer.
Right. Just extend the deadline instead of letting the market take care of it.
We need companies where people actually care about them. That people who work for them believe what the brand believes. I'd go and do a marketing call, and I did this in one day, and it just blew my mind. I'm in the agency for Motorola, and the girl's on an Apple phone, and I say, why don't you use Motorola? They're rubbish. Okay, fine. Then I walk from there and I go to the agency for Caribbean Cruise, or one of the cruise lines, and they go, yeah, last year was terrible. And I say, okay, so you're going to do some work with this year? Oh no, we're going to do the same campaign we did last year. And I'm like, you just said it was terrible. Yeah, it wasn't because of our campaign, it was because the market. So no, the market was good. And then the third one, I turn up, I think it was one of the Asian tourist boards. And I said, what's your favourite city? And she looks at me and goes, I've never been there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're responsible for multi-million-dollar budgets, you three, and not one of you gives a monkey's backside about your customers. And I think that's sums up my frustration with the whole marketing world.
Right. And it's a tough crowd to sell to, because it flips flops. There's millions of options. Everyone thinks whatever they have is the best thing. All the math can be made up or faked, right? So it's a tough group to sell to.
But also, you go in there and they go, yeah, we're already planned, we're already organized, we've got our budget, we've got nothing left. I'm like, your job, firstly, is to listen to what I've got to say. If you don't listen to what I've got to say, you're not doing your job. I don't care if you buy or not. You don't buy. I don't care if you spend all your penny. You need to know, one, what the market's doing. what's going on, what the products are out there, and you need to give your clients good advice. And if you don't do that, I'm certainly going to do it myself, because I get very frustrated when people tell me that, give me excuses. Well, I'm a solutions man. I come here and I'll provide you solutions, and we'll work from there. Don't give me problems. There's enough problems in the world. Don't give me any more.
Now, if what do you tell your sales guys to do today so that this time next year, they're at the place they want to be?
Tell them, stop worrying, stop watching the news, stop filling your body with negative anxiety, and use this time to really coach and develop yourself. Read up, learn, self-develop, learn a language, and make sure that you're reaching out to every single one of your clients and everybody you want to speak to. Don't try and sell them anything. Just reach out there and be the front of the queue. Get there and make sure they're aware that we will do anything we can to support them when we come out of this. And we're at the end of the phone. And if they need editorial support, they need TV ads made, or they need anything doing now, we're offering our services. Because I think the people who've just either been furloughed or who are not connecting with their clients, those clients are still going to be doing things, and this is the time to make sure that you're front of mind, or at least in the top 10 of people they're going to buy from.
Right. I think a lot of reps probably think too transactionally. If I'm not going to get anything, I'm not going to do anything, and that's not how it works. It's deposit, withdrawal. It's not withdrawal.
Keep giving more value than you want in return. The world pays you in lots of ways. It pays you in money when you do a good job, but it pays you with feedback, love, appreciation, care. It sends lots of messages. You send lots of messages to your customers when you're just human, and you actually you care about them, not just they're a dollar sign in your head.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the world became a little bit too much. And I think this is a great reset, because we became too greedy. We took advantage of everything. We abused everything. We weren't very nice. The fact that people actually say hello to each other as they walk down the street now, it's refreshing.
Right. And there's a common misery. We're all in the same mess. Now talk to us about the book. What would people get out of it if they invested the time and money into reading it?
They will definitely get a fun journey through a salesman's life, from 17 to 50, so 33 years of sales. I talk a lot about overcoming the challenges, overcoming difficult circumstances, tips about how you conduct a good sale, how to get your dream job, how to stay positive when all around you are losing their heads. I talk a lot about motivation. I talk a lot about the salesman. What is a salesman? What they're made up of? All about the ego. All about the challenges that we have as human beings. I talk a lot about when things don't go right, and how you deal with it. How to deal with stress. How to deal with when you're having that voice in your head telling yourself you're rubbish. So it's. I wouldn't like to say it's a self-help book. It's a helping book. It's a helping hand from somebody who's been through every single war story that ever existed.
Yeah. And how did you become so resilient?
Resilience comes from good decisions, and good decisions come from bad decisions.
They do, don't they?
And you make enough bad decisions and make enough mistakes, you become resilient to them. I was just going to add to that. I think that a lot of the time we give a monkeys what people say about us and what they think about us, and we care what other people's opinions are, and that is the biggest drain on our resources.
Yeah, you got to get to the point in life where you realize no one cares about what you. And you should care what they think about you, because they're not spending any time thinking about you. Well, what's your motive? What's your why?
Right now, I have a superpower more than the why, and that is to help people achieve what they want to achieve, but in most cases more than they want to achieve, because I believe that people have far more potential than they know. You don't know how good you can be because you have a limited mindset, whereas I look at people and say, I really can take you somewhere far, and that's my motivator, that's what I drive. And how I got there was, I said, if I was doing something that I wasn't getting paid for, what would I do? And I said, well, I'd like to work with young kids, develop them, coach them, inspire them, and get them ready. And then I realized that's what I do, and that's my job, and that's what I get paid for, and I get paid handsomely to do it because I love it. And that's a tip to anybody. If you do what you love, someone's going to pay you well for it, and as long as you keep doing it to the best of your ability, they'll keep doing that. And it's a dripping tap that never stops.
Yeah, because that's one of the elements of the flow state is what they call the helper's high, is that it's a hormone that gets released when you're helping somebody else. And it's innate in us, and it had to be, right? That's why mothers take care of their kids, right? Who wants to take care of a screaming kid all day? It has to be built in. And I think as leaders, that's one of the ways that you get into that flow state is by helping your people.
And I've seen so many leaders over the years who just are very good salespeople who get promoted. One of the things I learned, especially over the last couple of years, is you think you're doing a good job by keeping this guy in employment, and you're promoting him. You've got to have the right people in the right jobs, and it's better to say, do you know what? You're not going to be a manager. You're the best salesperson on this floor. I'm going to give you a really grand title so you feel important, but stay and do the job you're really good at. Yep. Stop trying to do a job where, you're mucking it up and you're spoiling yourself, and it won't be long before you're making less money and you're unhappy.
You're miserable.
you need to stay happy in your job. Be grateful for that you've got that fantastic skill. And it's a challenge. I think they call it the Peter principle, where people get promoted beyond their ability.
One step above their capability.
and that for me is that's a frustration. And
cool.
I always want to keep people doing what they're really good at and make them even better. And I think the coaching and development, we've brought in coaches and psychologists and sports psychologists just to sit with them and show them, this is what you're really good at. This is the muscle you need to hone.
Yeah, cool. And tell us where they can get the book and what formats does it come in?
It's available at Amazon. It's in Kindle and paperback. I keep saying I'm going to push the Audible book. I don't like the guy who's recorded it. I don't like his voice. I need to get my head over that, or I'll record it myself over the next couple of weeks while I've got some time.
Highly recommend you do that. Salespeople or audio consumers of content, if you haven't noticed.
The book is so easy to read. It's written by an idiot, right? Everything I do is simple. So, people have said, I picked up ebook. I couldn't put it down. It was, especially people who know me, it's like, it feels like you're sitting on my shoulder talking to me and reading it to me. And I said, no, it really is. It's a nice read and it's an easy read. And, you go through short chapters with lots of bits of information at the end of it.
And how about as far as following you?
Say again.
Where can people follow you?
I'd spend most of my energies on LinkedIn. So I'm Simon Leslie on LinkedIn. I started doing a little bit on Instagram. I'm Simon_Leslie21.
You look a little older than 21, no?
That's just my lucky number.
Oh, you signed up last year.
Signed up next year.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that interview. Hey, I want to make sure you're checking out b2brevenue.com. That is where you can get a free copy of an ebook that I did. It's a real ebook. It's not a fluff book. It shows and talks about how companies make buying decisions and how you can influence that from both a marketing and a sales standpoint, how to find all the people that are in the decision path and what they need to see, know, and touch and feel before they make a product selection. If your team needs some coaching, some help, some training, some systems, some processes that do work today, because we know what doesn't work, or you know what doesn't work, I'll show you what does work and how to connect and get into pretty much any account. It includes deal coaching and content, community, and I can customize it for your particular company. Just go to b2brevenue.com, look under training, schedule a call with me. We can talk it over, or just sign up. You can pay per month or all at once, whichever makes most sense for your budget. Also, I put out videos pretty much daily on LinkedIn and on YouTube. On LinkedIn, it's Brian G. Burns, and on YouTube, it's Brian Burns Sales. Just search for that if you like to consume some video content. And if you see me on LinkedIn, please put a comment and a share and a like on some of the videos. I really appreciate it. I've got a company page for each podcast. This one, the B2B Revenue Leadership Podcast, where I put both content and humor videos out daily. And tell a friend about the podcast. Really appreciate you listening. Check out the show notes for all the partners and the connections you can make there, the coupon codes for the products to evaluate them, see if they're a right match for you. And we'll see you next time.